Okay. I'm telling you, I'm still getting used to this. It's a weird feeling. Hello, everyone.
Hi, everybody. Hi, we're the iWonder sisters. I'm Andy.
And I'm Kim. And we'd like to welcome you to our third episode here on YouTube. And we do see that we have a couple subscribers. So we're inviting you to join us and subscribe below and send us maybe thoughts on things you'd like to hear us chat about. Also, you'll see a couple of our previous podcasts that I uploaded to YouTube as well. And you can also visit us on TalkShoe. So that link is always below as well if you want to listen to our podcast. But happy Saturday. We're here. Tomorrow we'll be doing another Love and Libations. We'll probably have tea or coffee, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll do it early. So because we have to make a beer and wine trip. So tea and coffee are good too. So welcome. Today we want to talk about a subject called perfect timing. And just as we've always been doing, we share our personal stories of what perfect timing means to us and how we've experienced times in our lives when we knew that it just wasn't the right time for a dream, an idea, a vision to come together. And what that felt like and how we were able to move forward. So I'm going to ask Andy if she would kind of start off the conversation with maybe talking about, in spiritual terms, definitions, what perfect timing means to you for maybe somebody who might not be as familiar with the use of that term.
Well, perfect timing means that something is happening when the universe is conspiring and you're ready for it. A lot of times we make plans, we have goals, and we work towards them really hard, and they don't seem to materialize. And what happens when that happens is that we beat ourselves up, we ask ourselves why. A lot of people give up because they think it'll never happen.
Yeah.
And that's all part of the fallacy of thinking that if it doesn't happen right when you want it to happen, it's not meant to.
Yes. Yeah.
A lot of this has to do with a feeling of readiness, and only each individual can search themselves to understand whether or not he or she is ready for something to occur. Um, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and Andy and I always talk about what we feel makes us different and what really makes the information and wisdom that we share on our blog and on this channel unique to us is because we're not afraid at all to talk about the things that seem difficult. The parts of our lives that feel hard and uncomfortable, and that we might not want to hear. Those are the things that we explore because through our own experiences in life, we understand and know that process, and we know what work and inner reflection and readying ourselves for what it is we want to do. We know what the rewards of that feels like. And so that's why we always want to bring to light the spiritual work that we all want to and need to do if we're going to move forward in our path and really affect change the way that we want to, whether it's artistically, doing things like this, blogging, writing, whatever it may be, however we want to give to the world to help it heal and to help us heal. So when it comes to perfect timing, and of course we chatted about it this morning when I told Andy that I would like to talk about this because so many people, and I've known so many people that really lived in a sense of total defeat. And we were talking about that because, unfortunately, again, that position, that place of defeat causes us to feel so many things and to go through so many changes, to suffer on a daily basis. And it also, unfortunately, places us in a position where it becomes even more difficult for us to draw to us the things that we need to happen within ourselves and within our lives to make our dreams come true, to manifest the ideas that we have, the things we want to do, the careers we want to embark upon, the ways that we want to give to the world. It is almost impossible to draw to us the right circumstances and people when we're in a state of defeat. And so we want to share some personal stories about that, and places where we may have or could have been stuck, and chose to keep moving, and how we did it. So we're talking about perfect timing, and as Andy said, um, just because a dream, an idea, a passion of yours does not unfold or come to fruition right away, does not mean that it's not meant for you. I was sharing with Andy this morning, as I'm sure I've shared with her before, I wholeheartedly believe that if we have a desire to do something, if there is a passion within you that remains, and no matter what you do or where you go, that passion for art or writing or music or media or computers or volunteering, whatever it may be, animals, if that passion is still lit, there is the opportunity for the universe to bring everything together for you to make that happen. I really believe that. So if you have a fire or passion for something, and you found that maybe you've approached it in many different ways and it has not happened for you for many reasons, it doesn't mean at all that it's not meant for you to enjoy, to explore, to have your dreams unfold, to come to fruition. There are things going on, and this is where the work comes in. And then, so I'll have Andy jump in however she wants to on that. With a personal story or just the work or whatever you want to do.
Okay, well, for a long time in a previous incarnation, I was an actor. And I worked in New York where I lived. And I also worked out of town a great deal. And I felt like my career wasn't what I wanted it to be. And at one point I met a man who lived in England, who was Canadian, and he and I had a relationship, and he brought me over to England to spend some time with him. And while I was there, he worked in a stable of mostly American and Canadian actors, and there were a lot of American-made movies made in England at that time. And everywhere we went, when we went to dinner, if we'd go to a pub, meet his friends, everybody always said to me, "You do so great here. This is where you need to be." Okay, I thought. So I finally went back to New York, and the relationship fell apart, which is neither here nor there. But I decided I wanted to explore that, and I had no money to go. And suddenly a friend offered to loan me $1,000 so that I could get over to London. And so I took him up on the offer, and ended up having a really good career there for as long as I was there. I was there for about 8.5 years. And it for me it it said that I was ready at that time to have that experience, to make those changes. And they were big ones. You know, they may speak English in England, but it's a very different culture. And I had to learn to adapt to that culture. It wasn't hard for me, but it is hard for a lot of people. And and so it was kind of the universe sort of saying, yes, this is what you are supposed to be doing, and this is the way you're going to be able to do it, and it all worked out for me.
Yes.
So yeah.
And I think that I feel like that's one of like the biggest clues um, as to when something is right, when it's the perfect time for a change, a move, or whatever it may be, because you really do receive help. You
Yeah.
know, help comes from places. It's not a struggle to get help.
And one, I knew nobody in England. I knew
Yes.
no one. I knew this man that I had had the relationship with, but he didn't want to have anything to do with me, so I couldn't rely on him for help. And once I got there, um, everybody wanted to help me. Americans, English people, all in the business, in theater and film. And I got started getting work right away. I got an agent right away. I remember writing home to my actor friends in New York and saying I had applied to several agencies and they all wanted me. And in New York, you've got to strip yourself bare and light yourself on fire to get an agent. And I remember writing home to my friends in New York and saying, they're fighting over me. I can't believe it. I actually have a choice of
Yes.
agents. Um, it was quite spectacular, really.
You know, and when things are right, you know, also I mean, there's so much in that story, because when things are right, you need to be in a place where you have the courage to take the chance, to take the risk, to try it, to take that leap. You know, Andy always says, I don't feel courageous.
Well, I don't. For me, every change that I've made, and I've made some big ones, um, has come almost as an imperative rather than something that I could choose or not choose. Going to England became something that I had to do. There was no dithering about it. I didn't have to make a decision. The decision made itself for me, um, because it was meant to be and because I needed to get away from New York. And I feel that way about every change that has gone on in my life. Coming back to the States was a big change, and a lot of people thought I was a bit crazy to do that, but um, it all worked for towards my well-being. It all went towards helping me heal, and my time in England helped me heal to a certain point, and then I had to come back. And then now being in New Mexico, which I had wanted to do for a long time, um, and working with a partner, um, and having a business, and being committed to that relationship and that endeavor. Um, these are all things that it at least it feels to me like um, they happened in spite of me, not because of me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, well,
I know that's not the truth, but that's what it feels like. I feel like everything had to be the way it ended up.
uh, it could have been many ways. I used to have a good friend years ago. Her name is Annie, and she was always like the voice of realism, like in our little group of friends. And she used to always say, girl, it can always be worse. I don't know about better, but it can always be worse. So I don't necessarily subscribe to that, but I do believe that, as Oprah says, that opportunity, that, how does she say? She says luck is when opportunity meets preparation.
Mhm.
So I definitely believe that when opportunities and the circumstances arrive and click together to make things happen that we want to happen, that within us there is a readiness there. I can understand what Andy means, because certainly going through all of my readiness periods, I mean, I wasn't always conscious in those moments that I was growing, challenging myself, um, learning how to deal with, a lot of different circumstances and people and things like that. I wasn't always conscious of it within the moment that I was going through those things. So I do understand the feeling of doing what you feel you have to do, because I'm the queen of that too. I do what I feel I have to do, what life brings to me. But as Andy says, the truth of the matter is that we know the real reality is that we wouldn't be experiencing it if we were not ready,
Mhm.
especially not in the harmonious, peaceful way that our work, friendship, sisterhood, partnership flows with everything. Um, because, but I know that I know what it's like to be in the midst of wrong timing, and what that feels like, and the struggles that you'll experience when maybe you just aren't ready, and everything is not really ready to come together yet. Before I met Andy, I was in Philadelphia, my hometown, and I had a desire. I guess it was quite a few years ago. I would say it was 2015 now. I would say probably around 2007. Something, I got this little bug in me that I wanted to be on the radio. The door's open. It's very windy. Um,
Go get it.
I'll be back.
Kim can get up from this position better than I can, which is why she's going to close the door and not me. When once I'm here, I'm here.
Very windy.
Yeah, it's very windy today. It's actually quite gorgeous out.
Gorgeous. It is. Yeah. So.
Okay, here.
Oh.
That's the advantages of
That-
having somebody 20 years younger than you.
So, I know my mom used to say that's why you have kids. Um, so I got this bug in me, that I wanted to do a show. Now, in 2007, I was just involving myself in Twitter. Um, I had no idea that you could even do a show on the internet without having a bunch of sponsors and a whole lot of cash. So I don't know even where it all came from, but I just Googled. I get these ideas, and then I Google, because I know I'm not the first person that's thought of anything. So I Googled, and I came across TalkShoe, and it said, do a radio show for free online. Start now. so, so I, checked it out. I signed up, and I was like, I want to do a show. This is amazing. I can't believe this. So my first conversations, as this is called, my first conversations type podcast was with my cousin Mo, who is, like my sister. And I asked her if she wanted to do it and share our conversations. And she said, yeah, okay, that sounds really cool. So we start doing this show, and Mo and I are really close. I mean, we know each other so well. Um, and we start doing the show, and I noticed that when it's showtime, she's like always busy. She forgets. She's like just getting home. She's, at Walmart, and I became really frustrated because for me, this was a passion. It was a way for me to share, to talk about things, to have fun, to make myself laugh and other people laugh, to make myself think and make other people think. Um, for her, it was something I'm doing with my sister, that she asked me to do, and I said yes. So it wasn't her dream. It wasn't her passion. And she actually was very bashful. The whole experience of being heard by God knows how many people forever and ever, as long as it's on the internet, freaked her out a bit. So she didn't enjoy it like I did. And so we came to an understanding that, she really, it wasn't her thing, it was my thing. So that show fell apart. But I still was so enthralled with this whole idea of, I mean, I didn't even really know anything about YouTube then. I knew that I could look up videos, but I didn't know that people were on here sharing their passions and talents and all that. I really had no idea. So after that, I went through many people. I had some friends that I would talk to all the time and thought we have a lot in common. And Mo kept saying to me, you're such a talker. I don't know why you keep looking for a partner. But what she didn't understand, which I can understand because only I would know what I was seeking. Um, I longed for that collaboration. I like to collaborate. I mean, I learned that about myself. Um, and so I was seeking that whole sense of relationship, collaboration, two people sharing their gifts, bouncing things off of one another. What I don't do well, you do well. What you don't do well, I do well. That was the experience that I was really seeking. And so after going through a few people and asking friends, and people saying yes, because I mean it's like sounds really cool. Like I'm gonna be what? We're gonna do a show, and I don't have to put out any money. So everybody was saying yes, but it wasn't their dream either. It wasn't their passion. Um, and fortunately, I was fortunate enough that there were no blow ups or arguments or anything like that. It just all fell apart really smoothly. Um, so I I felt saddened that it didn't work, but I always did feel like it would. But I was smart enough also to know that I really didn't know how to make it work. I didn't know what was missing in me because a part of what I always wanted to do was coach, was to help people in everyday life. So I wasn't sure of what I needed or really what the universe was saying to me at that time. But I did know that it was something that never went away. And so there was a possibility, an opportunity for it to happen, and there was a reason why I wanted to do it. But I had to go through a lot of changes because I ended up moving to Florida, South Florida, a place where I said I would never ever live. Never live. And I had plans to move to LA because I have a friend out there. And it just wouldn't come together. Every time I tried to make plans to find a place or move, it was either too much money, I didn't have the money, or the place fell through. If it was reasonable, I didn't get it. It was just like nothing worked out. And so one of my friends in D.C. said, what about South Florida? It's warm, you're looking for warmth and tropical and all that stuff. And I said, Florida? I have never wanted to live in Florida.
I just have to say that I've always hated Florida. And when I ended up in Florida, I actually had a psychic in England tell me I was going to move someplace where there were palm trees. And
Yeah.
I said, I thought you were good, but now you're wrong.
Yeah, and I had a psychic. Betsy was the one who confirmed for me before my friend in D.C. mentioned Florida to me. I had an acquaintance who was a psychic. She's in Arizona, and she said she saw me go into a place where there was water, and I said, "Oh, I'm trying to move to California." And she said, "I don't see you in California. I see you in Florida." And I said, "Florida?" I had the same reaction Andy did, like, Florida? I never wanted to live in Florida. And so I rationalized in every way why she would make that connection. You know, I didn't know why she said that, but it was a couple months after that that out of the mouth of one of my friends, um, Florida came, and he said to me, I said, Florida? Oh, I never want to live in Florida. And he said to me, Kim, can you just get over the name of the state? Honestly, and just think about some of the things that you told me that you're really looking for now.
Didn't you also say that someone told you you were going to find a sister in
Yes,
tomorrow?
Bessie was the same person. And now this was after I ended up in Florida. This was after, and everything came together. I cannot tell you how many times I was broke before I moved to Florida.
Mm.
I can't tell you how many times my bank account was on zero, because once I did get over the name of the state, I really, there was something that really compelled me so strongly to be there. It was like I knew that nothing was going to stop me from getting there. I didn't know why, but I knew it. And I never worried. And so many times I would make money. I was working for myself as a virtual assistant. So many times I would make money, people would pay me, and then something would come up, and or I get a $400 heating bill from the house I was living in, and just like a whole bunch of stuff. And so many times I never had any money, but lo and behold, I ended up finding a place on Craigslist um, that didn't want security, and everything fell into place. And I got an assignment, a job, a freelance job that ended up, paying me like $1,000 or something, and I had everything that I needed to get there. But also when I got there, I talked to Betsy after I was there for a little while. And, I felt like things were going, things were like a little sticky. I wasn't able to, I was used to Philadelphia, and I wasn't really able to get the type of work that I thought that I could get. The town we lived in was very small, like most small towns, very cliquish. So I felt like I was struggling a bit, and I said to Betsy, why am I here? I have no idea now why I'm here. And she said to me, you're there to meet two sisters. She said, you're there to meet two sisters. You're going to get, in other words, two sisters out of this whole deal. So at the time, I had met a lot of people. I can't tell you how many people. I met a lot of people, and I had a lot of friendships that began that very quickly dissolved because of a lot of betrayal, and people that I just couldn't trust, telling me things that just blatantly weren't true. All these things mean a lot to me, and I was so deeply hurt, and I just wasn't sure, why I had made this decision. Needless to say, I continued to keep on keeping on. As the old people in my family would always say, when times get tough, they say, keep on keeping on. I continued to keep moving forward. I was very relaxed on the idea of having a blog or business or a show or anything like that. I just kind of sat it over to the side and did a lot of fun things. became a bartender of a wine bar, pretty much a manager. They left me there pretty much all the time, um, to pay everybody and myself and to run things. And I had a blast. I met so many people. I learned through these people what they were, a mirror for who I was, um, who I was to become. They showed me parts of myself that were definitely shadow aspects of who I am. They also showed me parts of myself that were talented and gifted that I really wasn't conscious of. So every friendship that I had, sisterhood, a couple times that I thought I had, was a reflection of a lot of what was going on with me. You know, there's a great, I don't resonate with everything in um miracles,
Oh, Course in
A Course in
Miracles.
Miracles. However, there is something in A Course in Miracles that says that it's not love that we need to seek, but we need to seek all the ways in which we block ourselves from receiving it.
Mm.
And I found out that that was true. So every friendship, sisterhood, relationship that I entered while I was there was a reflection of a me who was also closed, did not trust people as far as I could see them. Okay, and who also was very hurt by other things in the past, and never dealt with that hurt in a way that was like, I'm hurt. It was always easier for me to be angry. So anyway, I kept on keeping on and moving forward, and the wine bar closed eventually, and those couple years of my life down there were over. And I ended up meeting Andy through a person that I met at another place I was working, a hookah lounge of all places. So I met Andy, and always, and thought originally that the person, her friend, that I knew before I knew her, would I thought that we would maybe start something together. And remember, we even tried to do that,
Mhm.
and it just fell apart. She wasn't committed to it for her own reasons. And so and I wasn't connected to what it is that she wanted to say to the world, so I wasn't committed to it. Um, and then I'm going to tell you, the a whole world of stuff happened, and and here we are. And one day Angie says to me, I want to start a blog. She told me what she wanted to write about, and I said, me too. Oh my God, like, can we do it together? And we were both so excited, and we didn't waste any time. We started from day one, from a blank page, and we are still at it. And it just felt natural and right. And we both have said to each other, because we freelance, right, also for money, to be paid. And we both love it so much and are so committed to what iWonder Sisterhood offers. What we learned from it and gained from sharing and talking with you, that we would do this forever. If nobody ever paid us, if we never got any ads or advertisements or anything like that, it's so a part of who we are. It's so natural that we can do it forever, no matter what. So the perfect timing came along, and we shared the details of these stories to say that you can go through a lot of crap while waiting for the perfect timing. So if you right now are in a position where things are around you are looking really crappy, like you've embarked upon a business, an idea, a project, whatever it may be, partnership, whatever it may be, and it just seems like no matter what you do or how hard you try, it's not gelling. It's time to take a step back and do the work that we always talk about, and explore what may be going on within you that is not ready for this particular thing. Um,
Yeah, I think, when you and I came together, um, I was right on the cusp,
Yes.
of discovering this whole new um, venue in which I could express myself.
Indeed.
And meeting Kim, I mean, I started my own blog first um, with
Yes.
Kim's encouragement, um, and was so um, empowered, and then the more we talked, the more the iWonder sisters' ideas began to unfold
Yes.
and take shape, and I realized that I was ready.
Yeah. Yeah.
Up until that point, I had no idea whether I was or not.
Yeah, yeah, no, me either. I mean, I would like to say that that I was that aware or conscious, but I really wasn't. I mean, I think I was more in a space of surrender
Mhm.
than really knowing. It wasn't like I said, hey, maybe this is the partner I've always been looking for. Maybe this is the like-minded person I've been seeking. I wasn't there in that space. However, I was definitely in a place of surrender. I was willing to be where I was.
And I think that's a really important point. I
Yeah.
think when you're reaching for something and you're not getting it, acceptance and surrender are so important, because you're not going to percolate your readiness, your inner readiness, unless you accept where you are.
Yes.
You can't move forward unless you surrender to the present. And that's a lesson I've learned in some respects the hard way. Um,
Me too.
but it's an indelible truth
It is.
about life and about the human experience. Um, when you're in acceptance, um, then things can happen. Then you make space for things
Hmm.
to happen. You know, so yeah.
And you have to do because as in this human experience, fortunately and unfortunately, there's a million and one circumstances that we can encounter. So it'll be different for all of us. Um, it'll be rougher for some. It depends on so many things as to where you are.
It also depends on how much resistance you put up.
Yes, yes, indeed. And there's no easy way. There's no easy way to move forward when you're there. You need to be where you are. You need to find a way to be where you are. I mean, I stopped and was like, hey, I used to teach wine years ago. Maybe I could be a bartender. you know. I'll just make up the drinks as I go. And fortunately, I didn't have to serve drinks until later on, but I did make them up when I had to serve cocktails because I really was never trained as a bartender. But I did what I had to do, and I'm going to tell you, I had a lot of fun. I had so much fun. I knew that I wasn't going to do that for the rest of my life at all, or for any long period of time. I knew that much, but um, yeah, you have to find a way to be where you are, and we're never going to tell you that that's something that's easy to do because sometimes it's easier than others. Sometimes it's really, really hard.
Especially if where you are is a place you really
Don't
don't
want
want
to
to
be.
be.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the reality of many people's lives.
Mm.
It has been the reality I know of my life. I've been definitely in circumstances that were very uncomfortable where, I would have definitely liked to be any place else going through anything else, but through grace, you know, and I use that word very carefully, through grace, because I don't know where it came from. There was always something within me that knew that the timing would come. I don't know why, but I just did. So there was a part in something in me that allowed me to be able to relax into the moment a bit, and to know that it's not going to be forever. Um, it's
And that's one thing I think we need to stress for everybody. Nothing stays the same forever. So if you're in a place where you don't want to be, and you have a passion or a fire or a desire that's not coming to fruition, um, you have to rest in the assurance that where you are, that place you don't want to be, is going to change. It's going to change one way or the other. It might get worse, or if you're really ready, it will get better.
indeed.
Um,
Sorry.
but you
My flash of orange. Sorry.
but you have to rest in the assurance that it will change. It's not going to stay the same forever.
Exactly, indeed. And so we want to, as much as we want to be real with you, and help you along through the uncomfortable times, and to let you know that we weren't never promised. There was nothing written anywhere that said that the experience that we're in was going to be an easy one. That's not a broken promise of any sort. There's nothing written that ever said that this was supposed to be um, without its challenges. And everybody's life has challenges. Um, Wealthy people still have to make choices, and they still have challenges. Um, they don't get everything they want. They don't have everything they want. There's always something to desire. It's not always material. And many of the things that are not material are always the most precious, the most needed, the most desired. So just know that everybody that is in this human experiences has challenges, and has choices to make. It has work to do. You can do it consciously. You can do the work consciously, or you can go through life and then until it ends, and so be it. That also is a choice that we get to make. So we want you to be encouraged that if it's something that you really want to do, and this is true as well, this is something that I believe is true. If you really want to do it, there's nothing that's going to stop you from wanting to do it. There are many things, desires that we have that are fleeting, and they're fun too. Sometimes we're like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that, oh, I want to do tattoos, I want to, all kinds of stuff, and then we get into it, it's like, oh, it's too hard, I don't want to do it. So there's plenty of that. There's nothing wrong with that. Those things are fun. They can be fun. But the deep rooted desires, which I think are a part of your soul's plan, which is why they're so deep rooted and they stay with you no matter what.
Right.
Can come to fruition. But you have to be ready. You have to be ready to have and I mean, we've seen through the lives of so many stars what it is to not be ready for what you receive, because they normally lose it all very quickly. The work, the fame, the money, all of that, they lose it all, and they have to start all over again. So really, there's no escaping the work. There really isn't. So we want you to be encouraged to know what it is that you really want, and to know that if you have the fire and desire to do it, that the universe is there for you, and all of the things you need are already in existence. You don't need to create anything. Everything you need to make it happen already exists, but you have to meet it. You have to meet it where it is. And so that's what we want to say about perfect timing today. So, speaking of perfect timing, Andy had chicken in the Andy has what I call the cooking angels. Okay, so I I love to cook, and I'm the cook of the house.
Yes, she is.
I love to cook. Love creating recipes, following recipes. I just love cooking breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So Andy doesn't consider herself a cook, although I have to say the things that she likes to make are always delicious. But she does it so, like, I cook with a lot of, knowledge and awareness because it's been my passion for a long time. And Andy just puts stuff on and then eventually goes back to it. And it's always fine. It's always fun. It's like, how long have you been cooking that rice? You know what I mean? And then she'll be like, oh shit. And then she gets back, oh, it looks good. It's fine. So she put chicken in for our Chloe because we cook her food. For our Chloe, I don't know how long ago. And it looks like it's fine. So the cooking angels still strike again. So so I have writing angels. When it comes to writing, we're so different because Andy prepares so deeply. And I don't prepare at all. And somehow, I just managed to just crank it out. So I have writing angels with me, believe me. So so there's our Chloe. So we want to say, please subscribe to our channel because we want to give away some stuff. Okay, we want to send out some gifts. In gratitude to all of our Twitter fans and all the people that support our blog, and also visit iWonderSisterhood.com as well, and subscribe to the blog via email. So you can either subscribe to both YouTube or the blog. Either way, we'll have your name, and we'll be able to get in contact with you for when we do our prize drawing, our gift drawing. We're going to be sharing our love and work with doTERRA essential oils. So you can check out our series called Love and Libations. And we're going to be trying to do 2 YouTube videos a week. One will always be conversations with the iWonder sisters, which is this, and the other will be Love and Libations, where we will share various forms of tools that we use for spiritual, emotional healing, and tools that we want to share with you. So, so we thank you.
Yes, we thank you.
Join us on Twitter at iWonderSisters, please. And we'll just say have a great day. Thank you so much. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.